How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all having an awesome day so far. Wraith here with a different kind of video to talk about this time around. I wanted to talk about how Doom Eternal has greatly improved my skills at first-person shooters as well as my history with gaming. I think a lot of us can relate to this topic and hope that those who are struggling with the mechanics can get some help here on this video. Before I get going, I always like to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and if you are new here and love Doom and similar content, then you are in the right place. Let's try to get this video up to 1,000 likes, and be sure to subscribe and set up notifications if you enjoy it. Alright, let's get going. Over the course of having a PC or even gaming on consoles in the past, I always thought that I would never be as good as a pro Quake player or someone who is amazing at first-person shooters. It always has been a dream of mine to play with the pros and finally be a master of a certain game, but life got in the way and I kind of became a casual gamer. There's nothing wrong with being a casual, and oftentimes those who don't play games regularly are naturally skilled at a lot of games that they have played throughout the years. I myself have played a lot of games throughout my time in gaming, but Doom Eternal has really helped me improve on my skills as a gamer overall. Going back to the beginning, I first played the original games in the 90s on the PC. One of my older brothers got the Ultimate Doom on the CD for Christmas one year, and I was able to see how first-person shooters came to be at a very young age. For years I played the game a lot, but never really focused on bettering my skills, as I would use the cheat codes and mainly just have fun with it. At that time I was around 8 years old, so being a pro at a game was not really a huge priority at the time. After a while, I got into console gaming with the Nintendo 64, then the Xbox, and so on. It honestly wasn't until Doom 2016 that I wanted to start working on my skills and having a desire to be better overall. When I first bought Doom 2016, it was on the Xbox, so I had to get used to the weapon wheel functionality and get accustomed to a controller. Using a controller isn't always a bad thing, as there are plenty of players out there that have beaten both Doom 2016 and Eternal on Ultra Nightmare. However, the whole idea of having a mouse and keyboard just seemed to work a lot better for me. Of course, if a console is what you have and can't afford or care about a PC, you can still master the game just as well with a controller. The Halo games were a good starting point for me when I was using a controller, as they were not fast-paced shooters, at least Halo 1 through 3 for the most part, and some of the Call of Duty games. They also helped me get used to the movement mechanics by using the thumbsticks, which can be awkward for a lot of people. The other problem with those games is that the mechanics force you to take cover and regenerate your health, which is fine for a lot of people, but those who thrive on more of a Quake-like experience want games that force you to push forward. The modern Doom games have done just that, and if you want to survive, you have to push forward and rip and tear as much as possible. Prior to the release of Doom Eternal, I was fortunate enough to get back into PC gaming, and I was not that great starting out. It took me a while to get adjusted to the idea of having a whole keyboard to use for weapon selection, items, etc., and using a mouse to aim. Something I decided to do was to go back to the basics, like playing the original Doom, Heretic, Hexen, and other shooters like Fear and Quake 4. A lot of the older games don't have a ton of keys on the keyboard, so it was more of a way to get used to the WASD movement keys and using a mouse to do basic gaming. Once I stepped up the challenge to other modern shooters like Fear, I had to get used to using more keys for inventory, switching grenade types, abilities, all while trying to survive. Of course, with enough practice, I was ready for the next challenge of playing Doom 2016 and Eternal. The modern Doom games have really changed the way we view first-person shooters. No more regenerating health or finding cover, but rather to push the player to move forward to survive. This kind of mechanic may seem counterintuitive in other games, but it makes the challenge more appealing and will force you to learn from your mistakes. Much like playing on Nightmare. One small mistake and you will be ripped to shreds, or even start the whole campaign all over again on Ultra Nightmare. It's often said that if you want to be the best, you need to go against the best, or something like that. By playing on the lowest difficulty, you won't really be challenging yourself or learning from your mistakes, unless of course it's your first time playing Doom or are very young and so on. I'll admit, I had to first finish both Doom 2016 and Eternal on Hurt Me Plenty, then after getting a feel for it, I cranked it up to Ultra Violence, then eventually Nightmare. Playing on each of the different difficulties makes a huge difference, as demons are stronger and use their attacks more frequently the higher you go. This is how even the slightest mistake will cost you a huge chunk of health or cause you to restart the checkpoint. Now of course, it's very important to understand the mechanics of Doom Eternal, as it is a bit different from Doom 2016. But now most of us have played the game, or at least seen a ton of videos showing what to do in different situations and how to get in the fun zone. This time around we have the advantage of the bestiary portion in the codex, showing us the weak points, major weaknesses, and strengths for many of the demons you face in Doom Eternal. On top of that, there are the tutorials and the use of the chainsaw, flame belch, ice bomb, grenades, and blood punch, among other things. In order to survive, you have to constantly use these tools to your advantage in every fight until you are able to master the game and eventually finish fights unharmed. A lot of the pro gamers are able to encounter some of the most difficult arenas without taking any damage, and it shows that they understand the mechanics, what combos to use, and how to do the Doom dance with ease. Throughout my time learning how to better myself playing the game, I watched many pros like Bite Me, Zero Master, Prote, Alston, and many more. Many of them are known speedrunners and can blow through the campaign quickly, yet efficiently as well. They are also masters of weapon switching, which can make a huge difference in how quick you can take down the heavy and super heavy demons. Not only is weapon switching a very good tactic, but it can also help conserve ammo. In Doom 2016, you could honestly just use 1 or 2 weapons the whole time, since you would get a ton of ammo and there would always be a lot of ammo pickups. In Eternal, it's a lot more challenging this time around. Thankfully, to counter the issue with the lack of ammo is that the chainsaw fuel is common in most of the arenas and that the first pip refills over time. Also, with weapon switching, it allows you to use a weapon much like the ballista faster than using it and waiting for it to get ready for the next shot. The time you would take to shoot the ballista twice in a row in succession, you could have another shot from the rocket launcher or super shotgun, adding in a combo or more DPS in general. This is just like the Marauder tactic where players use the ballista, SSG, and then the ballista again. If you can time it right, you can add in another combo right after the first one if you can falter the Marauder with the grenade. These are all good tactics to understand the game, and I have adopted them into my playstyle as well. Another way I was able to help myself get better at the game was to use the Horde Mode mod, which is available now to everyone that owns a PC. The mod was created by Prote, and I can't say it enough on how good the mod has become. After playing the mod, it makes Slayer gates look like nothing, as the mod really challenges you and forces you to constantly keep moving in order to survive. Of course, this is not available to console players, but who knows, it's always possible. Prior to Doom Eternal's release, id Software pretty much made it clear that they wouldn't support mods, but with geniuses like Prote, he was able to find a way around it. It's only a matter of time until someone can figure out a way to put these mods on current consoles or even on the next-gen consoles. Of course, I'm not a software engineer by any means, and it may never happen. My point is that these arenas really help with resource management and using the best tactics that you are able to pull off. Another thing to mention is that not using a heads-up display actually helped me out a little bit as well. When you have all those features on the HUD combined with keeping an eye on your item cooldowns, etc., it can oftentimes distract you from what is really more important, which is the fight, of course. I first thought that playing without a HUD would be a crazy idea and that I would never be able to pull it off. However, after playing Doom Eternal enough times, I learned to know how much health I would have, ammo, and when the cooldowns for my items were ready throughout each arena. If you are constantly glory killing using flame belch and other mechanics to survive, then you can focus more on the actual fighting. I realized this when I turned off the HUD, turned up the FOV to 120, and played Horde mode and got way farther than I initially got the first several times before. Even playing in the campaign seemed a bit easier as well. I usually play a Nightmare, so it was a little interesting to make the switch. I used to always worry about when my cooldowns would be ready, what my health and armor were at, and it caused me to mess up as I was distracted. Now of course this is all subjective, as it could be possible for pro players to play better with the HUD instead. All in all, by playing Doom Eternal the right way that it was intended to be played, helped my skills as a player in general. If you want to be good at something, you need to not only practice constantly, but learn new ways to better yourself and to come out on top. Playing the harder difficulties may be really rough to a lot of players, but as long as you understand everything about the demons, what weapons to use in each scenario, how to constantly keep moving and focus on the fight, you'll be able to enjoy the game and get in the fun zone. Doom Eternal is meant to be a game that challenges you every time and will allow you to discover new ways to defeat your enemies. It always surprises me to see new videos of other players showing how to take out certain demons with weapons or combos that I never really thought to use before. Everyone has a different playstyle, and whichever works for you, then stick with it. I am still constantly learning more on how to get better at the game and to improve my skills, and still need to beat the game on Ultra Nightmare. This video was mainly to let you all know how the game has helped me, and hopefully it can help motivate some people to keep pushing along and master the game, especially if you have been struggling with it or stopped playing it altogether. I wouldn't consider myself someone who focuses on strategy videos, as there are many other YouTubers like Under the Mayo and Alston that are able to guide you in the right direction. Other than that, I hope you all liked the video, and if you didn't, be sure to let me know so I can improve the channel. It never hurts to get some feedback from those who watch my videos, especially if you are new here. I typically do lore and breakdown videos, so it was nice to change things up a bit. Be sure to check out my social media accounts at RipNtear Gaming to see other things over there and to stay up to date with my channel. Hope you all have a good one, stay safe, and until next time, fellow Slayers, don't forget to rip and tear. Peace.